To every chosen one watching this today, welcome. If you've ever felt misunderstood, betrayed, overlooked, or isolated, know that you're exactly where you're meant to be. This message isn't here by accident. It found you for a reason. Take a deep breath, open your heart, and prepare yourself, because what you're about to hear could completely change the way you see your life. Stay with me until the very end, because every word is meant to strengthen your spirit, renew your faith, and remind you that your greatest comeback is still ahead. Let's begin. There are moments in life when the truth hits so hard that it changes the way you see people forever. And today, I need you to hear this with your whole heart. What they did to you behind your back was absolutely insane. It wasn't a simple misunderstanding. It wasn't an accident. While you were praying for them, believing in them, supporting them, and wishing them well, they were secretly trying to rewrite your story without your permission. They smiled in your face but questioned your worth when you left the room. They applauded your victories in public but criticized your every move in private. They hoped the whispers would become your reputation. They thought lies repeated enough times would eventually become truth. But here's what they never understood. Your destiny was never in their hands. They underestimated the power of someone who walks with purpose. They underestimated the strength that is built in silence. They underestimated what happens when a person refuses to become bitter. That's why you're still standing today. That's why you're listening to these words right now. Because despite everything they tried to do behind your back, they couldn't destroy what was built by perseverance, faith, and unshakable character. Listen carefully, because this message may be exactly what your soul has been waiting to hear. The betrayal wasn't proof that you were weak. It was proof that your presence carried something valuable enough for others to envy. Average people don't attract extraordinary opposition. Nobody wastes time attacking someone who isn't moving forward. The resistance you experienced was confirmation that your life was headed somewhere they could never follow. And while they invested their energy in plotting against you, you unknowingly invested yours in becoming stronger. Every painful conversation you never heard about made you wiser. Every hidden betrayal pushed you closer to discovering who truly belongs in your life. Every secret attack became another reason for your spirit to grow beyond what anyone imagined possible. Isn't it amazing how life works? The very people who thought they were burying you were actually planting the seeds of your greatest comeback. They couldn't see it because negativity blinds people. They believed your silence meant ignorance. They mistook your kindness for weakness. They assumed your patience meant you had no power. But patience is not weakness. Silence is not surrender. Sometimes silence is strategy. Sometimes the strongest response is allowing time to expose everything that words never could. And time has a remarkable way of revealing character. Masks eventually fall. Fake loyalty eventually expires. Hidden motives eventually surface. You don't have to chase the truth because the truth has a way of introducing itself. Think about how much emotional energy they wasted discussing someone who wasn't even in the room. While you were working on your dreams, they were working on rumors. While you were building your future, they were building stories. While you were focused on becoming better, they were focused on making you look worse. Now ask yourself this simple question: who was really losing? Every minute they spent trying to damage your name was a minute they neglected their own growth. Every lie they created became another chain holding them back from their own purpose. They believed they were defeating you, but they were actually delaying themselves. That's why you should never seek revenge. Success is a far greater response than anger. Peace is a louder statement than arguments. Growth speaks in ways that revenge never can. Let people watch you become everything they said you never could. Let your consistency answer every accusation. Let your discipline silence every critic. Let your joy confuse those who expected your downfall. There is incredible power in refusing to become what hurt you. Anyone can respond with hatred. Anyone can return betrayal with betrayal, but it takes a truly transformed person to protect their heart while continuing to move forward. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're becoming the person your pain was preparing you to become. Every scar carries wisdom. Every disappointment teaches discernment. Every betrayal sharpens your ability to recognize genuine people from temporary ones. You no longer need everyone's approval because you've learned that not everyone deserves access to your life. That's not arrogance. That's maturity. There comes a season when you stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You stop proving your value to those determined to ignore it. You stop chasing acceptance from people who secretly celebrate your struggles. Instead, you protect your peace. You protect your energy. You protect your purpose. And something incredible happens when you do. The right people begin finding you naturally. Genuine opportunities begin opening unexpectedly. Doors that were once locked suddenly swing open because what belongs to you cannot be stolen by gossip, jealousy, or deception. Never forget this powerful truth. People can delay opportunities, but they cannot cancel destiny. They can spread rumors, but they cannot erase your calling. They can question your character, but they cannot rewrite the truth of who you are. What is real will always outlast what is fake. That's why you must keep moving, keep believing, keep improving. Refuse to let hidden betrayal become visible bitterness. Refuse to let secret attacks steal your public confidence. Every morning you wake up with hope, you win. Every time you choose integrity over manipulation, you win. Every moment you continue growing, despite what happened behind your back, you win. One day the people who underestimated you will remember your name for completely different reasons, not because of the rumors they created, but because of the life you built despite them. They will wonder how you kept smiling after everything they did. They will wonder how you stayed focused while they tried to distract you. They will wonder how you kept rising while they expected you to collapse. And the answer will always be the same. You stopped giving your attention to what was happening behind your back and started giving your attention to what was waiting in front of you. That's the difference between people who remain stuck and people who change their lives forever. The past may explain your pain, but it does not define your future. Today is your reminder that you are stronger than every secret conversation, greater than every hidden betrayal, wiser than every lie, and more powerful than every attempt to break your spirit. Walk forward with your head high. Protect your peace. Guard your purpose. Keep building in silence. Keep believing when nobody else does. And keep becoming the person you were created to be. Because in the end, what they did behind your back will become nothing more than a chapter in your story. While the life you create from this moment forward will become the legacy they never thought you were capable of achieving. Have you ever wondered why some people smile at you during the day, but speak against you the moment you leave the room? Why they shake your hand with one hand while trying to bury your reputation with the other? The answer is simpler than you think. They saw something in you that they couldn't find within themselves. They recognized your potential long before you fully recognized it. They noticed your discipline, your kindness, your resilience, and the quiet confidence you carried. Instead of being inspired by your growth, they became threatened by it. Instead of celebrating your progress, they secretly hoped to stop it. That is why what they did behind your back feels so unbelievable. It wasn't just a few careless words. It was a deliberate attempt to make people question your character, your intentions, and your worth. They hoped that if they repeated enough lies, people would stop believing in you. They believed that if they could damage your reputation, they could also destroy your future. But they underestimated one powerful truth. A person's character is stronger than another person's opinion. Think about it for a moment. While you were investing your energy into becoming a better person, they were investing their energy into creating stories about you. While you were working hard to improve your life, they were working hard to convince others that you didn't deserve success. Isn't it amazing how some people become so consumed by another person's journey that they completely neglect their own? Instead of building their dreams, they spend their time trying to break yours. Instead of fixing their own weaknesses, they focus on inventing flaws in someone else. That kind of thinking never leads to victory. It only creates frustration, bitterness, and regret. People who constantly tear others down eventually become trapped by their own negativity. They believe they're hurting someone else, but in reality, they're poisoning their own future. Here's something I want you to remember for the rest of your life. People don't attack what they don't notice. They don't spend hours discussing someone who has no influence. They don't waste their energy trying to stop someone they believe is insignificant. The very fact that they worked behind your back is evidence that they saw your value. They feared your potential. They knew that if you continued growing, your success would eventually expose their insecurities. So they chose the easiest weapon available: gossip, manipulation, and hidden betrayal. They believed they could weaken you without ever confronting you directly. They hoped that whispers would accomplish what honesty never could. But whispers can only travel so far. Truth has a way of catching up with every lie. Have you ever noticed that people who gossip the most rarely have peace in their own lives? That's because they constantly compare themselves to others. They measure their happiness against someone else's achievements. Every time they see another person succeeding, they feel like they're losing. Instead of improving themselves, they become obsessed with bringing others down to their level. That's exactly what happened in your situation. They weren't fighting against you because you were weak. They were fighting against you because your progress reminded them of everything they refused to become. Your determination exposed their excuses. Your discipline highlighted their laziness. Your courage revealed their fear. Without realizing it, you became a mirror, reflecting everything they wanted but were unwilling to work for. The painful part is that sometimes the deepest betrayal doesn't come from strangers. It comes from people you trusted, people you welcomed into your life, people you encouraged when they felt discouraged. You celebrated their victories, supported them during difficult moments, and believed they would do the same for you. But behind your back, they chose jealousy over loyalty. They smiled while secretly hoping you would fail. They applauded you in public, but criticized you in private. They acted like friends while behaving like enemies in rooms you never entered. That kind of betrayal hurts because it attacks your trust. It makes you question people. It makes you wonder whether anyone is genuine. But don't let someone else's dishonesty change your character. Don't allow their betrayal to turn your heart into something cold. Let it make you wiser, not harder. The beautiful thing about truth is that it never needs to shout. It doesn't panic when people believe lies. It doesn't rush to defend itself every single day. Truth is patient because it knows time is on its side. Eventually, people begin noticing inconsistencies. Eventually, fake stories begin falling apart. Eventually, those who spread rumors become trapped by the very lies they created. Character has a way of revealing itself over time. You can pretend for a season, but you cannot pretend forever. Sooner or later, actions expose intentions. That's why you don't have to spend your life chasing every rumor or responding to every accusation. Some battles are won by refusing to fight them. Some victories come simply from remaining consistent while everyone else loses credibility. Imagine how much time they wasted discussing you. Think about all the conversations where your name became the center of attention. While they were trying to convince others that you weren't enough, you were unknowingly becoming stronger. Every obstacle they created forced you to develop greater resilience. Every disappointment taught you valuable lessons about discernment. Every hidden attack strengthened your emotional endurance. Without realizing it, they became part of your training. They thought they were creating your downfall, but they were actually preparing you for a level of success that required stronger character. Sometimes, life allows betrayal because it reveals who deserves access to your future and who doesn't. Some people can only walk with you for a season. Others must leave before your next chapter begins. This is why you must never measure your worth by the opinions of people who secretly compete with you. Their criticism is often a reflection of their own insecurity, not your value. If someone constantly tries to make you feel small, it's usually because they feel small themselves. Secure people don't need to destroy others to feel important. Confident people don't fear another person's success. Mature people celebrate growth wherever they see it. Only insecure hearts become threatened by another person's light. So don't dim your light just because it makes someone uncomfortable. Keep shining, keep improving, keep walking with confidence and integrity. One of the greatest mistakes people make after betrayal is allowing anger to control their future. They spend years trying to prove people wrong instead of proving themselves right. But your mission is bigger than revenge. Your purpose is greater than winning arguments. The greatest response to hidden betrayal is visible growth. Let your life become your answer. Let your consistency speak louder than every rumor. Let your achievements silence every critic. Nothing frustrates negativity more than seeing the person they tried to destroy continue rising with peace, confidence, and joy. There will come a day when people who believed those lies begin to notice something different. They'll see your integrity. They'll see your kindness. They'll see your consistency over time. They'll realize that the person they heard about doesn't match the person standing before them. That's when the truth quietly begins correcting every false story. You won't need to defend yourself because your life will do it for you. Your actions will become louder than their accusations. Your character will become stronger than their gossip. Your peace will become greater than their chaos. So if you're carrying the weight of betrayal today, don't let it convince you that you've lost. You've only discovered who wasn't meant to continue the journey with you. Every painful experience has separated you from people who could never go where you're going. Keep your heart focused on your purpose. Keep investing in your growth. Keep choosing integrity when dishonesty seems easier. One day you'll look back and realize that what they did behind your back never had the power to stop your destiny. It only revealed the difference between those who talked about greatness and the one who was actually willing to become great. Your future was never determined by secret conversations. It was always determined by your courage to keep moving forward when others expected you to give up. And that courage, that resilience, and that unwavering commitment to becoming your best self will always outlast every lie, every betrayal, and every attempt to hold you back. In the end, your success will not simply prove them wrong. It will prove that no amount of hidden opposition can defeat a person who refuses to stop believing, refuses to stop growing, and refuses to let someone else's darkness extinguish the light they were created to carry. Now I want you to hear something that could completely change the way you look at your past. What they did behind your back was painful, unfair, and deeply disappointing. But it was not the end of your story. In fact, it became the very reason you grew into a version of yourself that they could never have imagined. Sometimes we think the greatest blessings arrive through comfort, applause, and acceptance. But life often works differently. Some of the strongest people in the world were not shaped by easy seasons. They were shaped by betrayal, rejection, heartbreak, and hidden attacks. Those moments that felt like they would destroy them became the exact moments that built their strength. The same is true for you. The betrayal that once made you question everything has become the foundation of your resilience. The pain that once kept you awake at night has become the fuel that keeps you moving forward every single day. Think about the person you were before all of this happened. You trusted easily. You believed people's words without questioning their intentions. You welcomed everyone into your life because you assumed that if your heart was genuine, theirs must be too. You expected loyalty because you offered loyalty. You expected honesty because you spoke honestly. You expected respect because you gave respect. But life had another lesson waiting for you. Not everyone who smiles at you celebrates you. Not everyone who stands beside you is standing with you. Some people stay close only because they want a front-row seat to your journey. Others stay close because they are waiting for the right moment to benefit from your downfall. That truth is painful, but it is also powerful. Once you understand it, you stop giving unlimited access to people who have not earned your trust. The betrayal changed something inside you, but not in the way they expected. They thought you would become weak. They thought you would spend years crying over what happened. They expected you to lose confidence, question your worth, and give up on your dreams. They believed that their secret actions would permanently break your spirit. But instead of breaking, you began rebuilding. Instead of collapsing, you started growing. Instead of living in bitterness, you chose to become wiser. Every difficult day taught you something valuable. Every sleepless night strengthened your patience. Every disappointment forced you to rely on your inner strength rather than the approval of other people. Without realizing it, you were becoming someone who no longer depended on outside validation to feel valuable. Have you noticed how different you are now? The things that once hurt you no longer have the same power. The opinions that once controlled your emotions no longer decide your happiness. You have learned that peace is too valuable to hand over to people who enjoy creating chaos. You have learned that protecting your energy is not selfish. It is necessary. You have learned that saying no to the wrong people creates space for the right people to enter your life. Those lessons did not come from comfort. They came from pain. They came from betrayal. They came from experiences you never asked for, but desperately needed. One of the greatest transformations happened without you even noticing it. You stopped chasing acceptance. There was a time when you wanted everyone to understand you. You wanted everyone to like you. You wanted to explain yourself every time someone misunderstood your intentions. But now you realize something far more important. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Some people have already decided who they want you to be, regardless of the truth. No amount of explaining can change the mind of someone committed to misunderstanding you. So instead of exhausting yourself trying to change opinions, you started focusing on changing your future. That decision alone gave you freedom. You stopped wasting energy on people who were never going to appreciate your value, and started investing that same energy into becoming the best version of yourself. This is where everything changed. While they continued talking about your past, you started building your future. While they repeated old stories, you created new opportunities. While they remained trapped in jealousy, you became focused on growth. Every morning you woke up with one decision: keep moving. Some days the progress was small. Some days it felt like nothing was changing, but every step forward mattered. Every decision to stay disciplined mattered. Every moment you refused to quit mattered. Success is rarely built through one giant breakthrough. It is built through countless small choices to keep going when giving up seems easier. That is exactly what you did. You kept moving when others expected you to stop. The people who betrayed you never understood the power of resilience. They believed setbacks define people. They believed failure is permanent. They believed one painful chapter determines the entire story. But resilient people think differently. They understand that every obstacle carries a lesson. Every closed door points toward another opportunity. Every betrayal reveals who belongs in your future and who does not. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" resilient people ask, "What is this teaching me?" That simple shift changes everything. It turns pain into preparation. It transforms disappointment into wisdom. It converts rejection into redirection. Suddenly, what once looked like the worst thing that ever happened becomes one of the greatest turning points of your life. There is another truth they failed to understand. Every attempt to slow you down actually forced you to become stronger. Every challenge made your faith deeper. Every criticism made your focus sharper. Every betrayal increased your determination to succeed. They thought they were creating obstacles, but those obstacles became your training ground. Just like a diamond is formed under pressure, strong character is built through difficult seasons. Without pressure, strength never develops. Without resistance, courage remains hidden. Without challenges, greatness stays undiscovered. They unknowingly helped shape the very qualities that now make you unstoppable. And perhaps the most powerful victory of all is this: you refused to become like them. You could have responded with hatred, but you chose integrity. You could have spread rumors, but you chose silence. You could have sought revenge, but you chose growth. That decision protected something far more valuable than your reputation. It protected your character. Anyone can return darkness with darkness. It takes true strength to answer darkness with light. Real power is not found in proving people wrong through anger. It is found in proving them wrong through excellence, discipline, humility, and peace. One day, the people who underestimated you will quietly watch the life you have built. They may never admit they were wrong. They may never apologize for what they did, but deep inside they will know the truth. They will remember the person they tried to discourage, and they will see someone standing with confidence, wisdom, and purpose. They will wonder how you recovered after everything they did behind your back. They will wonder how you found the strength to keep smiling while carrying so much pain. The answer will not be complicated. You decided that your future was too important to be controlled by your past. You refused to allow betrayal to define your identity. You chose growth over resentment, purpose over distraction, and hope over despair. So never regret the season that tested you. Never wish away the chapter that taught you resilience. Every scar you carry tells the story of a battle you survived. Every lesson you learned has prepared you for opportunities that require a stronger version of yourself. What they meant to use as a weapon became your greatest source of strength. What they hoped would destroy your confidence built your unshakable character. What they planned as your ending became the beginning of your greatest comeback. Keep moving forward with your head held high, your heart free from bitterness, and your eyes fixed on the future. Because your destiny has never been determined by the people who betrayed you. It has always been determined by your willingness to rise after every fall, to believe after every disappointment, and to keep becoming the person you were always meant to be. In the end, your comeback will speak so loudly that every secret conversation held behind your back will fade into silence, while the life you build will become living proof that no betrayal is powerful enough to stop a person who refuses to surrender.